Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer, and holy crap, Vanderbilt has got its guy. Tyrin Lawrence has recommitted to Vanderbilt after entering the transfer portal last month, and Jerry Stackhouse has back his best player. He has a guy who could legitimately be an All-SEC guy, and a guy who will take this team to another level. This changes everything for Vanderbilt. No other way to put it. This is the biggest recruitment of Jerry Stackhouse's tenure, although it was one of his own players. It felt like this one had major implications on where this program goes in the future, where it goes this season, and whether this program can compete in this era of college basketball with NIL, with the transfer portal. Vanderbilt just proved it could do that, and it's not only Jerry Stackhouse who did, it's this entire Vanderbilt program and the infrastructure of this program. It looked unhealthy for a while there when Lawrence entered the portal and he was the seventh guy to go in, and there was heavy rumors that this was NIL related. Vanderbilt couldn't compete there. I think Vanderbilt answered all those concerns, and you see now that Vanderbilt looks more positioned than ever to compete in this current landscape of college basketball. But this isn't just about Vanderbilt, it's about, and Vanderbilt in general, it's about this season. Vanderbilt now has an NCAA tournament argument. This is a team that has a tremendous starting five. Ezra Manjon and Tyrin Lawrence will make up one of the better backcourts in the league. I'll have to look, but I'd assume that's one of the top 2 or 3 backcourts in the league. I don't know how often Vanderbilt's been able to say that in the past. You look at the wing, Evan Taylor's a perfect complementary piece to those guys. Colin Smith's a really nice complementary piece as well. And then Vanderbilt has its big man in Van Allen Lubin. So that's a really, really solid starting five. And you add in a go-to scorer like Tyrin Lawrence around those 4, who will be Vanderbilt's best player, who will be its guy it's turned to late in games. And he's done it before. He's taken over at Kentucky. He's taken over at the SEC tournament. He's done it before, and he's performed like an All-SEC guard at times. Now Tyrin Lawrence is back, and he has the longest leash he's ever had. He has the most confidence he's had going into a season. This is Tyrin Lawrence's time, and it feels like it could be Vanderbilt's time as well. Just an unbelievable recruiting win for Jerry Stackhouse and staff. It looked early on like this was Auburn's recruitment to lose. Georgia was in the mix, where Lawrence is from. Texas Tech makes a late push, and I'm sure their NIL capabilities are tremendous. Memphis was in the picture there. Texas had some interest. I heard there was a little bit of rumblings of Kentucky interest, and Vanderbilt still finds a way to retain Lawrence. It felt like the best move basketball-wise for Lawrence because he can go to Vanderbilt and be the guy. He can be a guy who is a double-digit scorer and the guy Vanderbilt turns to down the stretch. But it also feels like Vanderbilt was able to make up for some of the stuff that other schools are able to offer him in terms of NIL, in terms of just everything that comes with this landscape of college basketball. Vanderbilt was equipped to handle, and Vanderbilt made a way into getting back Tyrin Lawrence. Now this program has buzz. This program has its star. It has the face of the program along with Ezra Manjon. And I don't know how you're not excited if you're a Vanderbilt fan at this point. Lawrence averaged 13 points a game. Last year took over in Lexington against Kentucky, took over against Ole Miss at home, and I'm sure there's other games I'm forgetting, but Tyrin Lawrence is really a testament to what this program can be about and what it has to be about moving forward. It has to be about retention and player development and recruiting under-recruited guys out of high school. Maybe it doesn't anymore if Vanderbilt's NIL is as far along as this recruitment will leads you to believe, but it feels like that's the blueprint for Vanderbilt. And if Jerry Stackhouse can get guys like Tyrin Lawrence and retain him like he just did, this program is in really healthy shape. Tyrin Lawrence is a guy who came in out of Sunrise Christian, had that ACL injury, but averaged under 4 points a game on not great efficiency 2 seasons ago. Became one of Vanderbilt's go-to guys this year and looks to make another jump into an All-SEC guy. I think Tyrin Lawrence has more in his game than he even showed last year. I think that's a guy who legitimately was one of the better players on the floor in his first G League Combine game, and it looked like a guy who had an outside chance of getting an invite to the NBA Combine. Had he had a great second day, that didn't happen, but just shows you how talented Lawrence is, how capable he is. And even there, you saw maybe another dimension of him being a ball handler. I don't know that that's his perfect role, and Ezra Manjon's going to play the point guard. But Tyrin Lawrence has shown time and time again that he's not that 4-point-per-game player. He's a double-digit scorer, and he's a guy Vanderbilt can rely on, and I don't think Vanderbilt makes a push like it did to get him. You see, when Lawrence was at the Combine in Chicago, Jerry Stackhouse, Andy Fox, Anthony Wilkins, James Strong, and I think some other people, Brandon Wells was also in attendance. Sources told us that his mom was also there, and they wanted her to be there. I think it might have been a surprise to Tyrin as well. So this is a program that threw everything threw everything out to get Tyrin Lawrence, and it paid off for him. They put all their eggs in the Tyrin Lawrence basket, and it worked out for him. Just an unbelievable recruiting win for Jerry Stackhouse and staff, and really for Vanderbilt as a whole, breaking down kind of how this helps them on the floor. I think this team is a NCAA tournament, at least on the bubble. They're right there. Without Lawrence, I don't know that they're even close to the NCAA tournament, and that's not a knock on the guys on this roster, but if you lose your best player in the transfer portal as late as they did, or as late as they would have, and the options on the board didn't look good enough to replace him and become an NCAA tournament team, this is a completely different team with and without Tyrin Lawrence, and it was crucial that Vanderbilt got Lawrence, and it did. This allows Ezra Magnon to maybe have some of the scoring pressure off of him. He can facilitate that offense. Evan Taylor can now play more of that 3-and-D role where he can create a little bit if Lawrence and Magnon don't have it that night, but Lawrence is going to be the primary scorer. He's going to be the guy who Vanderbilt turns to when it needs a bucket, and I don't know if Vanderbilt really had that until the second half of last year, and it was Lawrence, it was Liam Robbins. Those two guys were kind of the go-to guys for this team, and I think it could be very similar this year, but Lawrence is going to be the guy who takes that step, and I think Lawrence is a guy who's capable of being an all-SEC player. There's a lot of good guards in this league, but it says something that Tyrin Lawrence will probably be on some of those preseason lists for all-SEC players. He's a guy who Vanderbilt can bring to the media day in the preseason alongside Ezra Magnon. He can be the face of this program and the face of how this program has weathered the storm of NIL and the transfer portal restrictions it's had. It's in a really, really solid spot. If this recruitment indicates anything to you, maybe that NIL falls off if it's not a guy as popular as Tyrin Lawrence, but man, this program is in much, much better spot than we thought it was on April 24th, and frankly, it probably isn't a much better spot than it was on April 24th, and man, what a recruiting win for Jerry Stackhouse and company, and what a team, what a exciting group coming back for Vanderbilt. I don't know that we would have thought a month ago that this would be a team where you go into the season and you're really excited to see them play. A month ago, didn't even have Van Allen Lubin on the roster, didn't have Tyrin Lawrence, and you didn't have all that much hope. You thought maybe Lawrence was going in conference to Auburn. Vanderbilt keeps him away from them, keeps him away from some big suitors like Texas Tech and Memphis, and wins the biggest recruiting battle of Jerry Stackhouse's tenure. I think there's a few others that you can maybe mention, but this one I think takes the cake. Man, just hard to articulate this one. I don't know that I've done a tremendous job. I've tried my best, but this is an unbelievable recruiting win for Stackhouse and company, and I think this catapults this team from a team who maybe wouldn't have been in the basement of the SEC, but would have been somewhat close to that, to now a team that can compete the way it did last year, and a team that has a legitimate chance to take the step that it hoped to take from the NIT to the NCAA tournament. Lawrence was a huge part of them getting there last year and even getting to the NIT and making that late push towards the NCAA tournament. You saw in the SEC tournament when Lawrence kind of put this team on his back a little bit alongside Ezra Magnon and Jordan Wright, and a guy who played his best basketball at the best time. I'd expect him to do that again this year. And this team's going to take a little bit to come together, but it has the pieces. I think the main concern I have with this team right now is maybe a little bit in the front court, maybe a little bit depth-wise, but that backcourt, good guards win in March, good guards win college basketball games, and Vanderbilt has two exceptional ones. Jerry Stackhouse said that himself, and he said of Tyrin Lawrence, you can be a guy who goes and plays in the pros. He wouldn't have benched him if he didn't think that at Alabama, and he didn't think that Lawrence had that next level in him, and I think this is Lawrence's opportunity to show that he can take that next step as a player and he can be worth all this buzz in the offseason about him. But I think this is a huge win from a momentum standpoint for Vanderbilt as well. You go into next season not with people breathing down Stackhouse's neck. You go into this offseason or into the season not worried about Vanderbilt's program infrastructure. You go into the season excited, and that's a huge thing. I don't know if Vanderbilt has had that too many years for basketball, and now it does. Now this is a team with realistic expectations, and who knows if they get there, but this is about as good as you can feel, all things considered, in late May, early June. So, again, unbelievable win for Vanderbilt. Now you got to do it on the floor. You have the pieces. You have one of the better backcourts in the league, and you have the familiarity with both of those guys. You know what they can do. You know what they can do within the system. Now it's time to go do it. And Vanderbilt's not going to have an easy stretch in SEC play. The non-conference slate probably won't be easy as well, but this is a team that's capable. This is a team that I think Jerry Stackhouse probably believes in, and this is a team that could legitimately do it. This is a team that could get Memorial Magic back like we saw it last season, and I think this program is in a much, much better spot than it was even a few weeks ago when even I was questioning the infrastructure of how do you compete in this landscape of college basketball if people are poaching guys like Tyrin Lawrence. That's not to say there was tampering or whatever. It's just to say if you can't retain a guy like Tyrin Lawrence after the way you developed him, how do you win college basketball games and how do you get high-level players to Vanderbilt? Well, I guess we'll have to wait on that question because Vanderbilt has got Tyrin Lawrence back and it's got a Tote back as well. Thank you guys for watching. We'll have more on this basketball team, and we're going to try to cover the heck out of this team because they've given us a product worth covering this offseason. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more Vanderbilt basketball coverage. I appreciate you guys. God bless. Peace.